All right, all right, all right. Carnivore Soldier coming at you from Austin, Texas. Happy Valentine's Day. It's February 14th, Valentine's Day. I hope you didn't eat any chocolate. Hope you didn't succumb to the evil sugar industry and their fake marketing. Actually, I did a little research on Valentine's Day this yesterday and today, and found that like most of it's all completely fake marketing stuff, just like all our other holidays. They're not real. I mean, there was a couple guys that talked about possibly Saint Valentine's that, in like the 2nd century AD may have been the beginnings of this Valentine's Day legend. But really it comes back to like the Shakespearean era when Valentine's Day was kind of adopted as a romantic holiday. And then, of course, picked up the modern industry, the food industry picked up the ball and ran with it and made it this huge thing where if you go to the grocery store, they got aisles and aisles of sugar, which just meant to poison the people you love. So anyway, I've got a couple guests today. We're going to have a good discussion. If you were on last week, it's going to be like Groundhog Day. We got the same guys. This is good, though. These are good guys. We got the Carnivore Teacher, and we got DC Learning to Live coming on right now. All right, let's start with you, Carnivore Teacher. Tell us about yourself, John.
Hey, I'm John Laspina. I am the Carnivore Teacher on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, X, and I have been carnivore for over a year. And I was ketovore 3 years before that and keto the year before that. And my life has improved in many, other than the weight loss, just so many wonderful improvements. And I'm here to share my experiences.
All right. Thanks for coming. Yep. DC.
Okay. Much the same. Just carnivore for 11 months now this month. And, just controlling blood cancer. I've been in remission now on keto for 9.5 years and getting on top of things. So continuing the journey.
Fantastic, man. Thanks for showing up, guys. Appreciate you. Got a couple things I want to talk about today. Plus, we're going to be answering questions, of course. Hey, we got Charger Mopar on here. What's up? The 40-year carnivore. How's it going, Rick? How's the iguana treating you down there? And the duck. All right. So I was just talking to these guys. Well, I don't know if you guys knew about the whole St. Valentine's Day thing and how it started and how, basically it's we know it's a food industry gimmick now. Let me ask you, DC, is Valentine's Day big down in Australia too? I think it's all the Western world pretty much.
Not just the Western world, actually. In Japan, Valentine's Day is kind of opposite in Japan to what it is here. Like in the West, like the husband or boyfriend will go out, buy a heap of flowers and chocolates and that sort of stuff and give to his girlfriend. Poison her for the love of his life. But in Japan, it's the opposite way around. The women give men chocolate.
Oh,
that's cool.
But then a month later, they have what's called White Day. So they actually have like two sort of Valentine's Days in Japan.
Wait, did you say White Day?
Yeah, it's called White Day. So in February 14th, they'll have Valentine's Day. And the women give presents to the men. And in March, they'll have White Day where the men give presents to the women. But it's much the same. It's just the same as Valentine's. And it's all just, another sugar industry gimmick.
Sugar.
Really.
Oh, it's all the industries. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting because isn't white what they wear in funerals in Japan?
Black.
Or am I wrong?
Yeah, always black.
Yeah, it's black. I thought it was white. Okay.
No, sometimes like weddings maybe, but no, it's.
I can't remember what society. There's one society where they have. Maybe it's China where they wear white at funerals. It's interesting, but it's different, totally opposite of us. And we have something called Sadie Hawkins, which is more like a dance thing, right? You go to a Sadie Hawkins dance if you're a guy, and the girls ask you out to dance, right? They ask you to the dance. In grade school and in high school, we had that, but they don't buy you any chocolate. So that's interesting. John, did you have anything to add to that or questions to ask about it?
Valentine's? No, as a teacher, it was a nightmare for us. Halloween and Valentine's Day, all the chocolate, all the candy in the schools, and the kids were just all hyped up on the sugar. chocolate all over the hallways. I mean, that's my perspective from being a teacher.
I saw pictures because now teachers post pictures of the classrooms, right?
Yeah.
So I saw pictures of their celebration, and it's cookies and cupcakes and chocolate everywhere. And man, yeah, that can't be good for the kids.
And then I got a lot of gifts. It didn't matter what the holiday was, and all the gifts were always, candy, cookies, cake, junk. And then, when I became ketovore carnivore, thank you so much. And I don't have the time to explain on and on about my way of eating because they don't get it or they don't tell their parents. So I thank them. And of course I ended up giving it to the secretaries. I give it to people. So everybody gets my gifts.
Yeah, kids are really generous. Like that. When I was teaching in Japan too, they just love to give you stuff, but they think that, they just don't know, and they just think that everyone eats candy, everyone eats chocolates. But
it's such a societal thing that everything has to be sweet too, whether it's not even just desserts. I mean, foods have to be sweet. Drinks.
Well, think of our language too. When something is somebody, grandmother, somebody says, "Oh, sweetie," "Oh, honey." Think about what honey is. Even in our verbiage, things that are supposed to be good and fun and delicious have sweet words to them. It's in our vernacular.
Absolutely. And I think I was on Meeting Wellness's channel the other day being interviewed, and we talked about, she said, one of the things she said, she likes how direct I am. That's just a military thing. We call it the bottom line up front, right?
Yeah.
And I was watching another guy who's a soldier and law enforcement guy, Dr. Sean O'Mara, and he was talking, and I loved what he said. He said, people are always trying to sweeten their yogurt with, fruit or honey. And he's like, just grow up. Just put your big boy pants on and eat the yogurt. Not everything has to be sweet. This is not, you're not a kid anymore. We don't have to sweeten food to try to get you to eat it. You're just going to eat food, eat your steak.
Ken Berry says the same thing, eat your liver, grow up.
Grow up. I said, you know what? And I'm not going to coddle people anymore. I'm just not. I mean, I've had people on Facebook today, someone was saying that, oh, is there something I put in my coffee? I used to have iced coffee every day with sugar. And I'm not, she said, I'm not going to survive and I'm going to die. And I sent back like, really, are you going to die? Are you not going to survive? I said, that's BS. Just grow up and suck it up. And then she got all mad. I'm like, hey, I'm just telling you, you're just asking for someone to give you permission to put some sweetener in there.
That's what she's looking for.
Artificial or something. You want some validation for your misbehavior or your whatever. And I'm not going to give you that misguided stuff. Sorry. I'm not going to,
just don't drink the damn coffee.
Then you could take that step. You don't need the coffee to begin with. Exactly.
Right. And then I didn't even say that, but she's like, well, you don't want me to drink coffee. I said, you can drink coffee. You can do whatever you want. You can put sugar in there. I don't care if you put 3 lumps of sugar in there. It doesn't matter to me. I'm just telling you, don't come here asking for, someone to validate your bad decision.
Right.
That's like a heroin addict saying, I really can't go
exactly right. Yeah.
Well, that's addiction. Addiction is you justify, you validate, you do self-talk, you convince yourself all the ways that you can get at your addiction.
Yeah.
It's amazing what the mind does. You will do anything you can to validate it.
Yeah. Seriously, there are 2 kinds of hardships, you either deal with the addiction or you deal with the regret later on. So it's up to you. You've got the choice. You either do it now or you just suffer the regret later on in life. So it's up to you, isn't it?
And some people have to go through those steps. They have to go through the feeling of withdrawal. They have to try it and see that it made them feel like crap. So they have that feeling and say, okay, now I'm going to do it without the sugar. And now I'm going to stop the coffee. Some people have to go through it. And maybe they're asking for validation for that. But, everybody's different.
I think when people come in and they say, hey, I'm having X, Y, or Z problem. That's one thing, right? Now, what could it be? What could be?
Help me.
I think I'm constipated, which I hear all the time. It's like, I think this or that, or I'm feeling weak and it's been 3 weeks. How long does this last? That's one thing. But when people come in and say, what's everyone feel about honey? That tells me right there.
Yeah.
you're taking a poll from a bunch of strangers,
Yep.
and B, you're trying to get someone to validate your decision to have honey in your diet. Fine, you want to eat honey, go eat honey. Don't come in here and start posting that stuff on Facebook in my group anyway, because I'll ask you to not do that or leave. I have a rule in my Facebook group that, keep it real carnivore. If it's not, I'm gonna challenge you, and I don't delete their posts. I just challenge them, like, hey, that's not
my
carnivore.
next Facebook post in your group. What does everyone think about honey?
Let's do that, DC. Let's barrage this
I
Facebook
will
page.
jump on that, DC. What everyone, and don't even say what they think. They say what's everyone's feelings about, because if they said thank you, it elicit there's a logical thing, right? And then they're going to lose that one. But feelings, we can go feelings, right? So I don't know. It's just, maybe I'm too much of a hard ass, but I just don't. I don't know. There's other groups. If you want to do carnivore, go to another group. Go to a keto group or keto grow up. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for God's sake, you don't need validation from other people what you ingest, okay, what you eat, okay. I advocate for a carnivore way of eating because it helps, it's healthy, it's species specific. I know the science behind it. That's me, but I'm not going to force anyone else to do it. I'm not going to if you don't do it, I'm not going to drive around to your house and start jumping down your neck saying, look, you have to eat carnivore. I don't give a crap. All right. You eat what you want. You don't need validation from me or anyone else. But you are the one that has to deal with the consequences of what you eat, not me.
Right.
So eat what you want.
That's the point.
All I'm doing is showing you one way all I'm doing is showing you a healthy way to eat. If you don't like that, that's fine. You don't have to. Yeah,
it's just a I don't know if it's a sign of the times. Maybe people have always been like this. I guess they have. People with addictions, and talking about addiction too. Sean O'Mara talked about this, and I've observed it in my life. I know you guys did too. That when you get full on carnivore, your other addictions fall away.
Yeah,
your desire to participate in those addictions, all these addictions. I mean, risk taking, gambling, pornography. These addictions alcohol. They do fall away, and it's pretty amazing to think that plants really are the plants and processed foods, and processed means plants in the foods, I guess, too. But is the source of all of our addictions. I think
they are.
If we got rid of all those.
Well, list the chemical addictions. Alcohol is made out of what?
Yeah.
All the alcohols are made out of something from a plant, potato or a
corn
grape or whatever.
Wheat,
wheat, rice, marijuana, nicotine, tobacco. It's all plant-based
caffeine.
Stuff. Caffeine, exactly. Coffee, tea, anything. The theobromine in chocolate. People get a little. They get a little. It's the whole Valentine thing comes from theobromine because it gives you that love feeling. There's a little history behind that too, and I also believe the ketones. Your brain is running on these ketones, and it's repairing you from the inside out. So any OCD issues or addiction issues that are connected to the brain, they get fixed, or the whatever was restricting you from self-control is now gone, and you have self-control where you didn't have it before. It's just amazing what ketones themselves can do. Taking the plants away, it's the ketones as well. It's like on two fronts. You're helping yourself and repairing yourself.
It's not just self-control, it's self-discipline too.
And
because I agree the self-control is there, but I've found that my self-discipline, it's easier to do the hard things. It's easier to get up and go to the gym every day. I'm serious. I mean, I'm used to going to the gym my whole life, but it is easier. On the diet. I don't know what it is. It's easier to start washing the dishes. It's easier. Everything's easier.
Why is that?
Because I think it's because you are thinking clearer.
I think,
whereas before, the brain fog, the anxiety, all these other problems that you have with the Western diet, you just had too many things clouding your judgment as well.
I think you're
right. A lot of this, these people that need their validation from other people, a lot of that comes down to the anxiety they feel. Am I doing the right thing? So you get stupid questions like, how do you feel about honey?
Yeah.
You know,
In a carnivore, I mean, if you wanted to say that on a keto page, I'm totally fine with that. But don't come into my carnivore group and ask that. It's like, what are you doing?
Well,
Dude?
give them the facts about honey. What is honey?
Fructose. Yeah.
Yes, it comes from a bee, which is an animal or a creature or an insect or whatever, but it's glucose and fructose, and molecularly it is identical. It is almost identical to table sugar and to high fructose corn syrup. It's just the molecules are a little different.
It's their addiction to the
And
sweet.
you're right.
That's
And
what it is.
they want you to validate them so they can continue
right.
to have it. They know deep down it's bad for them, but they want an okay. They want permission.
That's why I've got my embrace the suck shirt on, because
I like that.
This is an Army thing we used to say, because we're all going to go through the suck together in the Army. We're going to get out in the field and we're going to march. And, you know, people say no one can ever take a hike and be in a bad mood. That's false. You can, you put on a pack, you put on armor, put on your full gear, and you march, 15, 20 miles. You're in a bad mood sometimes. And then you have to camp out. And so you just embrace the suck, because you're not going to get out of it.
What are you going to do?
There anyway. So you might as well just go through and do it together. And in this group of carnivores, it sucks in the beginning, but it's totally worth it. Just like service in the military, totally worth it. But when you do it, it sucks. And now it doesn't suck. I don't know about you guys. What do you guys? Are you guys having to embrace any suck right now? I'm not.
No. Oh my gosh.
Well,
it's the other way around.
I mean, the only suck I embrace, I love is moving. Get your body moving. I love
the workout. That's my suck now.
There you go.
That's right.
I like that.
And the harder the better too. This morning I've already done fasted breathing. I've done 10 fasted sprints. This afternoon I'll hit the gym. So I'm that kind of stuff I love. I enjoy that stuff. But I think as you go along, it does get easier to abstain from the junk food. It's hard at first, and you're wondering, like I said before, a lot of it is anxiety due to, am I doing the right thing? Am I following the right health guidelines and that sort of stuff? But eventually, it does get easier. It gets much easier to just keep eliminating things down to what our proper diet should be.
What about you, John? Do you do any workout at all? Right
every day. Well, I'm in Florida, so we have pretty warm weather most of the year. Every morning I ride my bike right before sunrise. I try to catch the sunrise while I'm riding. I ride around a park. It's beautiful, nature, ducks, the lake, ponds, and setting my circadian rhythm. And I'm we don't have a lot of hills, so it's not really that hard, but I bike ride every morning. I have a Bowflex Revolution here that I bought during COVID lockdown because we couldn't go to the gym. I was going through gym withdrawal. So I bought this, unpacked it, and I've been working out here. I haven't gone back to the gym because I do this every single day. I take every fourth day off. I just take a day off and let my muscles rest. But I do different sets on different days. And every night at sunset, as close to sunset, I go for a long walk. I try to do like a 2 or 3 mile walk.
Nice.
And that's like, if it's raining and I can't do it, I'm in withdrawal. Like I can't do my walk. Damn it. I can't do my bike ride. I mean, I look forward to this so much, and it's part of my life now. I don't think about it. I don't even think of it. It's just part of my routine. So I do that every day and I feel great.
There's an endorphin high.
It is, what you effort in equals result out.
It's not just the endorphins. You do get endorphins from a good workout, and you feel good, but you get your lymphatic system moving.
Well, that too.
All those ketones that pushed up to the brain, like through your lymph fluid, everything like that. But getting outside, like you said, we are linked to the circadian rhythm. When it's daylight, we should be outside moving. Yesterday, I went for I love to go for after dinner. I'll go for a walk, and not far from the beach, and just walk barefoot along the beach, get some grounding in. Yeah, it's fantastic. You feel closer to nature and to the planet. You just it is just an overall feeling of well-being. Like getting out and grounding is I think is pretty important as well.
Yeah, I do some grounding. I walked yesterday barefoot for a mile with my dog.
Oh, great!
I love doing that. And if
Feels
I can't, I can go walk out into the garage and ground out there too if I have to, if it's too cold out. So I can do that barefoot.
Lowers your blood pressure, lowers your heart rate. It's actually documented. You know, when
it
you
does
ground,
stuff to your
Yeah.
blood viscosity too,
It does,
right?
yeah.
That's probably part of the blood pressure issues. Your viscosity
It's
changes.
amazing.
It is.
Well, I think it's
so many
something to do
benefits
with the
to it.
electromagnetic energy when you're in contact, you know. So
And you're
it's really
and
good.
you basically, like a house is grounded, you know, if a lightning strikes it or whatever, you're grounding to you are an electrical system as well, your spinal cord, all your nerve endings, and you're grounding. I just heard of grounding about 1.5 years ago. I'm like, what is this thing all about?
Yeah,
People are
I thought it
selling the shoes with the metal on the bottom and mattresses that you can connect to a cable so that you're in bed. You're actually, I mean, I don't know about that stuff, but you know, you put the pole in the ground and it connects to the mattress.
Yeah, Bart Kaye actually, he has a grounded bed.
Does he? Yeah. So I mean, there's a whole science behind it. I started Googling. I thought, okay, here's something I don't know anything about, and I did some research. And now when I'm in bare feet, I'm conscious of it. I'm like, I'm grounding while I'm walking here. You know.
Well, when I grew up,
I never use shoes until I'm going out, but
I was always barefoot. When growing up, I was always barefoot in California. I was always barefoot all summer. Most of the year, if I could, I was barefoot at my house.
The summer for us too, and I had calluses like crazy on the bottom of my feet, and I could walk on rocks and they didn't hurt.
Tough feet.
Yeah.
Dave Saunier likes your beard. Apparently, thinks it's a killer beard.
Who's that?
Dave Saunier. He's a Navy vet that I interviewed. He's a good
dude.
He's out in Louisiana. He'll be at KetoCon too.
All right,
that's
great.
the thing I want to talk about is KetoCon. So I'm interviewing. I'm going to put this up. I'm interviewing the CEO and founder, Robin Switzer. She's the CEO and founder of KetoCon in the next week, I think. And I got to look at my calendar, but she gave me my own discount code. Now it's the same effect as the HYH50, but if you don't have the code, Carnivore Soldier will work, or HYH50, either one, to get your KetoCon, to get $50 off your KetoCon tickets. Now, KetoCon tickets go up March 1st by $50. And April 1st, they go up another $50. And in May 1st, they go up another $50. So right now they're $249, so you can get them for $199 with $50 off. But it's going to go up another $150 in the next 3 months.
And this is May 1st to June 2nd. Am I right?
Yeah, that's right. It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And a lot of great carnivore doctors are going to be there. And I'm going to be, I know I'm meeting up with Dr. Kiltz and Dr. Chafee, and I'm going to meet up with Kerry from Homestead How, and also Dante Ferragno will be there. I'll be meeting him. He's the guy that got me going. And Kerry and I have been on this about the same time. Kerry started 2 days before I did. I'm at day 325, I think.
I've watched him several times, so I didn't realize that you were that new to carnivore.
Yeah. So what I like about what Kerry did,
because he's pretty new.
He's 327 or something on his day. I'm 325. But what I like about what Kerry's done is he had a channel before carnivore, so you could see his body transform completely. I started my video channel after months and months after I'd already lost all this weight. Right, I still lost weight during the channel. I mean, when you look at my first videos, they're pretty. I'm more swollen than I am now, and now I'm like swollen in a good way, right? So I mean, it was different, and but you can see his complete transformation, and I had a very similar transformation to what he had. But he'll be there, and Dante, who we both started by watching, will be there. So anyway, and I know actually Meeting Wellness, Christy's going to be there. So I've just sent her a map. I've got some maps. If anyone's interested in going, email me at carnivoresoldier@gmail.com. I've got a map of the event center and a couple good barbecue places around to eat, and a restaurant that's got a Brazilian steakhouse that has a brunch on Sunday and Saturday for like $41, which is amazing. All the meat you can eat. So high quality stuff. So anyway, so I'm looking forward to that. If you guys are considering KetoCon, consider getting your tickets before March 1st and use either Carnivore Soldier or HYH50. Either one will work to get $50 off.
I'm going to do that tonight. I'm going to look into it tonight. I get my flight, get the hotel.
Yeah. For sure, man. Yeah. And if you have any questions about the area, if you're coming, let me know and I'll try to answer best I can.
Yeah. I went there once 3 or 4 years ago. I did KetoCon once. So I'm anxious to see how it's changed, and I want to meet all these people. I wanna
Yeah,
see all
yeah.
these
And now they're changing the name. She's rebranding to HY8 to Hack Your Health. And that is because she wants to include the carnivore and expand out to that, because a lot of the keto is kind of shifting towards carnivore.
Is the whole thing not called KetoCon anymore, or is it
It is.
KetoCon with a subtitle Hack Your Health?
It's Hack Your Health by KetoCon, and she's
All right.
actually going to lose the KetoCon in the future, from what I saw.
Eventually,
So,
okay, Hack Your Health.
yeah, Hack Your Health.
Well, I think the carnivore movement is growing much faster now, and I think, you know, like keto has been pretty much taken over by the junk food corporations. You know,
It
like
has.
That's the problem.
Yeah, that is the
yeah,
problem.
all these, you know, so-called keto-friendly. Like the other day, there's some idiot on Facebook. He's advertising, you know, like, you should see these keto-friendly ice creams.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you got to be kidding me, right?
Read the ingredients. Yeah.
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 I mean, that you read the ingredients, they're full of seed oils, and you know, like,
all they do
the
is
hell?
they focus on carbs, and then they do the little net carb fancy arithmetic, and
all
they don't look at
they're
any
worried
of the
about
ingredients.
is low sugar.
Low net
That's
carbs.
it.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
still
Still
has
processed
sugar.
food.
It's still
Yeah,
Yeah, it still has sugar in it. It still has sweeteners in it. It still has seed oils, but
Right.
because it's low in sugar, it's keto-friendly ice cream. What a joke!
And the problem is with keto, and the reason I fell off every time, and I'm you guys are probably the same, is you're managing an addiction. You're not removing it. So it'd be
That's
kind of
right.
like saying, all right, I'm going to do heroin every other day now instead of every day.
Right.
And then manage it. I'm going to do less. I'm just going to do a little less. And then, yeah, that's not how you quit.
Right.
You knock it off. You know, if you quit cigarettes, you don't like, oh, I'm just going to cut back and start smoking filtered cigarettes.
But
first
they
and
do
drink.
that. They say, I'm going to smoke less, and I'm going to smoke, you know, the filtered cigarettes. But it really is. It's a good comparison. It's the same thing.
Yeah. So that's the problem. And the thing is, once you have that 20 grams of carbohydrates or whatever every month, every day, then that can grow easily, or you can slide easily and just
very easily.
Yeah, and then once you go past that, you're done. I mean, you're just off it again.
Yeah.
Because the addiction kicks in full power, if not stronger. And everyone I know, I mean, personally, pretty much did the same thing I did with Atkins, or anything you're counting carbohydrates. You know, when you're counting macros for that reason, to try to manage an addiction, it's problematic.
I started that way because I didn't know anything. I didn't start carnivore. I just started keto, and I had the app on the phone, and I counted the macronutrients. I didn't even know what it was. And that got me started, and it started the education of what is a macro, what is nutrition. So it can be a means to an end if you're using it as a tool. And some people, that's where they are. But, you know, I progressed. I went past it. I stopped counting and measuring and weighing. And then, of course, you know, what do I need this for? Why am I eating this broccoli?
Which one's easier?
It's I don't think now. I just
carnivore is when ketos grow up, you know.
Carnivore and keto grow up. You're right. Yeah. Well, it's just easier too, but it's infinitely. You don't have to have an app. You don't have to blow into anything or pee on a strip. You don't have to do any of this stuff.
Right.
At first, when I started carnivore, because I was keto before, I started checking my ketones. I had a blow-in thing, I had an app, and it just pegged out at 6 every day. I'm like, okay. I mean, this is a waste of time. I'm not eating any carbs, so it's like pretty much impossible.
I had the blood ketone meter, I had Keto Mojo, and that, you know, beta hydroxybutyrate is the blood. You know, the breath is not reliable, and the urine is not reliable after so much time. Right. So for people who are starting, it's like, okay, oh, look, I'm in ketosis, I'm going to continue. So it helps them at the beginning when you're starting. It helps you realize, because you're so used to eating the standard American diet and thinking the other way, right? Now you're thinking differently. You're starting to think about what is food, what is nutrition. Oh, look, I'm in ketosis, I'm going to continue. So it has its place, in my opinion. I don't use it anymore, you know, because I don't need it anymore.
I think the problem is that people get obsessed with, okay, I'm going on this diet, I need to be in ketosis because that's the only way to lose fat, sort of thing. And they start obsessing about
they obsess on
ketone levels.
Yeah, just like that.
And they use this cheap. Yeah, they use those cheap strips and things like that to measure their ketones, which are not accurate, which is just a waste of time and waste of money. Fact is, you've never measured ketones before. Why start now? It's a complete waste of time, if you ask me.
Well, if you're not eating carbohydrates, you don't have to worry about it. That's
right. But people want to see that they're in ketosis.
Doesn't matter what diet you're on, though. You have to eat eventually, and when you do eat, you will dip out of ketosis.
Yeah.
Right.
So you're going to go in and out of ketosis.
We go in and out. Right. Yeah. But people like the validation at the beginning when they're learning about it.
Yeah.
That's my understanding of it. Same thing with the continuous glucose monitor that people choose to buy who are not diabetic because they want to see, okay, if I eat this, what does this do to my blood sugar? Oh, look at that. I can't eat that, you know, and I can eat that.
Honestly, I like to keep things very basic. Even when I was, you know, when I was younger, in my 20s, I did a lot of marathons, triathlon, that sort of stuff. And, you know, I used to race with people that they always had these heart rate monitors on. That was another thing that I don't agree with either. Is like, just push yourself until you can't go any harder. Because, I mean, to me, they set themselves at this heart rate monitors level, and they could easily push themselves beyond that. But because they start getting this beep, they slow down and they lose a training dynamic that, to me, is just a waste of money, and it actually is detrimental to their training ability.
Timothy Noakes has something to say about that because he did a study on it. I don't know if you know that.
Oh, Tim Noakes, yeah.
Tim Noakes is he's an endurance marathon, you know, carnivore guy, but he wasn't carnivore. He was just, you know, studied sports medicine. And basically what he said was you don't have to worry about your heart monitor because your brain will shut you down before you get to that. That's the same with your legs. He's like, when you can't run anymore, your legs aren't tired, your brain's telling you to pull back. And he's like, you can't really, he said, otherwise people would be dying of cardiac arrest all the time during sports, and they're not. And they'd be dying of heat exhaustion all the time. They're not, because the brain is pulling them back. There's a safety setting in the brain. I forget which one it is. I was listening to him, but he's talking about that, saying that we have this. So you don't really have to monitor your heart rate and look at it. I don't, because if I did, I'd be way over what I'm supposed to be at my age. Because I spike it up when I'm sprinting. And I do check it, but I'm not limiting myself. I'm just trying to wait till I get back down to 145 for our next sprint, right? That's what I do. So I use it for that, but not for like limiting where it goes to. My body will limit. It'll pull me back.
We used to push ourselves like to the limit, and like I never ever bothered with any such garbage, because I know like you can push yourself as hard as you want. You're never going to push yourself to the point of a heart attack. Like, it's just not going to happen. Your brain shuts your body down. Like, I used to do sub 3 minute kilometers. We used to do crazy stuff. Like we'd at the base of a mountain. Like I loved running up mountains. It's the bigger the better. We used to see who could hold our breath the longest running up this mountain. You know, stupid crap like that. You know.
Hey, Tracy's got a question, guys. Have any of you had issues with leg cramping when you started carnivore?
I had charley horses every once in a while. When I would wake up from sleep in the middle of the night, I would stretch, and then I would get this horrible charley horse at the beginning. And people told me on Facebook that it might be because I'm adjusting, my electrolytes are adjusting as I'm entering this way of eating. My body's adjusting, and I don't have enough potassium or magnesium, and because I'm peeing it all out because my body's readjusting. So I would get more potassium and more magnesium. I took supplements, and it actually went away. I don't get them anymore, actually.
But you, DC, I know you were low carb before you went carnivore, but did you ever get any?
Not really. I mean, like, if my electrolytes are down a lot, like if I haven't had enough sodium throughout the day, I might get cramps at night, even now. But generally speaking, no. I mean, like, even it would only be on a day where I've pushed really hard and I just haven't taken enough sodium. So you're going to find, though, when you go carnivore, you need to increase your sodium intake. But a good mineral salt that has all your like potassium and magnesium and things like that in it will help you very much. But don't be afraid to eat as much as you want. Eat to taste. You know, again, you know, people shy away from eating salt because they're told that, you know, salt hardens your arteries. Another complete bogus myth. I think the first thing you should look at is your sodium intake, and you know, stretching is another thing that helps as well. You know, if you there's not always your sodium and your electrolytes and all that sort of stuff. It can also be a lack of just a muscle tightness as well. If you
I had some
stretch
cramps when I first started, and it was again like you sleeping, and I go to stretch or move my foot, and I get a cramp atop my foot or something. I took magnesium in a powder form, which tastes terrible, but it's instantaneous when you do it. So I put it in water and drink it, and it would go away like that, and I go back to sleep. But now I don't have any of that. I mean, that I'm like I said, about a year in now, and I don't have
your body rebalances its electrolytes once your body's used to it. And
salt it could be that you're drinking too much water as well. If you're drinking too much water, you're sort of peeing out your electrolytes a lot, you know. So when you are thirsty, it's not always water that you're craving. It's because you don't actually use water to hydrate. You use salt hydrates your body. So instead of drinking like a heap of water when you're thirsty, eat some salt, you know?
Absolutely.
And then when you are doing exercise, another thing I watched Dr. Noakes talk about was people overhydrating, and that's because the sports drink industry came out with this fake study. It's not even a study. It came out with a fake statement saying that if you lose 1 ounce of water, you're dehydrated. You're in a dehydrated state, and you need to be fully hydrated all the time, which is wrong. Because if you look at evolutionarily,
they're trying to sell these sports drinks like
Gatorade.
That's what it was. Yeah. And he said basically being dehydrated while you exercise is good. And it's not a bad thing. And you should drink when you're thirsty when you're exercising. If you thirst, drink. If you're not thirsty, do not drink when you're exercising.
We overthink this. You know, how much water do I have to drink? How many ounces? How much salt should I put on my food?
Which is all fake.
It's just salt to taste. Drink when you're thirsty. Don't drink when you're not thirsty. Eat when you're hungry. As humans, we've complicated things. You know, animals in the wild, they don't think about that. They go to a salt lick when they have the urge. there's
a lot of deliberate reasons for the waters being muddied. You know, like the corporations. Like the whole calorie in, calorie out sort of argument is all about putting the blame for obesity and disease onto us rather than them, and that sort of thing. So all these overcomplications. It's not us specifically. It's as a species. It's these particular corporations that do this,
and they can sell it, right? They have a plan. They can
sell it.
Yeah, that's right.
They can sell
the first thing I do in the morning is I have salt water. When I drink water, I usually put salt in it, and quite a lot.
Is there any particular brand of salt you use that you like?
Any colored mineral salt is good. I usually stick to a Himalayan salt, a red salt. But any mineral salt is going to do you a little benefit as well. Another thing you can do is like a salt bath. If you have a bath, mineral salt baths are also very good for hydrating your body as well. And also
your skin.
Rid of fluid. Also getting rid of excess fluid,
And a lot of people, we talk about the constipation issue. One of my answers that I give people if they're constipated, one of the reasons could be, salt draws water into your colon. Just like you said, when we're thirsty, we're really wanting salt is more than we want water. People who are constipated, the colon does not extract anything. That's where it's the last part of where the food is coming out. And that's where it takes the water and the salt, the water comes together and you get a soft bowel movement. And people who are constipated, if they just add more salt, they'll notice they have a more moist bowel movement. It's easier. It's not always the reason, but that's one of the reasons that I've learned as well.
The body's pretty good at regulating itself.
And and salt moves around the body. You can't, and then, what if I have too much salt? Well, you pee it out. Your kidneys take care of that. You can't. I mean, I guess you could have salt toxicity if you really overdo it, but you can't worry about, it's too much or it's too little. Just
same with fat. Same thing. Your body will regulate it.
Exactly. Your fat, you can have a bowel movement that's healthy if you eat more fat, if your bowel movement is too stiff. Your bile, you only make so much bile, and if it's too much fat, it comes right out.
Yeah, that's right.
So Dave Saulnier's got a question and a comment. I had a spectacular picanha roast yesterday. Followed Meeting Wellness's recipe. She has a recipe on there you guys need to check out. If you haven't registered for her channel, check out Meeting Wellness, but also check out these guys here, Carnivore Teacher 1965 and DC Learning to Live. And I'll post their things here in a minute. But anyway, have any of us tried that cut yet? I've had picanha at the Brazilian Steakhouse. I have not made it myself yet. Did you make your own?
I did. I get it like once a week. I have a picanha, and what I do is it has a very thick lip of fat on the end.
Cap.
And what I do is I take a very sharp knife and I cut most of that off, and I put it in my crock pot. I render the fat, and then I use it for cooking later on, because I still leave a lot of fat on there. It is a delicious cut of meat. Absolutely delicious. Yeah.
How do you cook it?
What I do is I fillet it and I cook it like a steak on the grill.
Okay.
I've tried to do it like a roast and I didn't do it right. I like to cook them as steak. So I make them about a half-inch thick, half-inch, and I cook it like I would do a ribeye on the grill. Yeah.
I'm going to have to check out her recipe. What about you, DC? Have you ever had picanha cut or heard it of
No,
it in Australia?
Mate, I stick to the cheapest meat I can get. It's either ground beef or chuck steak. So
yeah, picanha is pretty affordable too. It's cheaper than ribeye.
Not an expensive cut. Yeah.
It's a pretty affordable cut, and it's got an amazing flavor. It's not as tender as a ribeye, but it's the flavor. There's nothing like it. It's really good, and they use it a lot in the Brazilian churrasco, the steakhouses.
Okay.
Because it's
there's a good comment at 1142, the Mediterranean runner.
About the 42?
1142.
Let me go down to 42, which is 7:42 my time. Yeah, he's a veteran too. He's another Army vet, I believe.
Yeah, just did a 20-mile race this past weekend, 24-hour fastest state.
Nice.
Probably only drank about a cup of water through the whole race.
Oh, there you go.
Burning fat creates intent.
Yeah, for sure. So, and people overhydrate on these races all the time because there's water every kilometer or whatever, and it's like, or every mile, and it's too much. I mean, you don't need that much water. You need to run by that water unless you're really thirsty. If you're doing,
I think the only thing, like when I did marathons, the only thing I would do is I would wash my mouth out with the water, spit it out, and I tip the cup over my head to keep my body cool.
Yeah,
that was it, and then I just keep going. I didn't drink it, didn't swallow it, just wash the mouth out, tip it over my head, and keep going.
Yep. So Bruce likes to track metrics. It's fine to track metrics, but realize you don't have to be successful at this. If you want to track it, you want to geek out. A lot of people like that. And that's
some people like to geek out on it. Exactly.
I'm good with that.
Yeah.
But don't tell people like, oh, you have to have this percentage of protein and this percentage. If you don't know how to do a 70-30, don't obsess it. If you don't know how to do a 70-30 protein to fat diet, just eat ground beef, eat eggs and bacon, and add some butter, and you're good. I mean, and just eat the taste, and you don't have to worry about it. And people always, this is nothing. I know I've said it before, but people are like, how much protein should I take? Like, listen, when you're eating pizza and ice cream, were you counting protein back then? You weren't worried about it, and that was an inferior food, and you were okay. So guess what? Now you're eating a superior diet. You're going to be okay. Just don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Unless there's some reason you need to worry about it.
Yeah, it's like cortisol. Like people say, there's all these videos about people, avoid stress, don't stress. Cortisol makes you fat and all this sort of stuff. So of course, everyone wants to avoid being fat. So they're all doing everything they can to avoid stress and cortisol. They're literally stressing about avoiding
about worrying about stress.
I mean, seriously,
it's crazy.
Just chill.
There's sometimes too much knowledge. We obsess over it. Knowledge is power, but then people geek out and obsess over things too much. So there's I go back to thinking, well, the animals don't do this. They know how to eat.
That's right. You got to think back to the basics.
Basics.
Yeah, it's a good thing to have knowledge, but it's not. Yes. It's not good to obsess about it.
Right.
Yep, and that's okay. So I'm going to tell you guys. I'm going to announce this now, but I've talked to these guys about it. I'm actually going to write a book, and because there's a lot of carnivore books out there on how to do carnivore and what the science behind it is and how to. And mine's just going to be practical application, like how to incorporate an ancestral diet in a modern lifestyle. And it's just be really practical stuff. Like these are things, I'm not going to be going into all the science and all the geeky numbers and the 70-30, how to do all this. I'm just going to talk about like what it looks like in a regular life, because I think it's important. A lot of people miss just the regular, just like you said, like the animals do in the wild. This is how you do it, man. You just eat, and eat to satiety, eat fatty meats, eat meat salted or seasoned with salt, and drink water. And that's really it. And cut out all sweeteners, cut out all artificial foods, cut out all carbohydrates. And that's all you got to do. It's very simple, but it's hard to do at first.
It's hard to do at first because people don't know anything else, that they've been raised on the standard world diet. It's in your face in the stores everywhere. You walk by it constantly. So
yeah,
this is we still do. And this is a new concept to just eat meat, and they question it. So, but I don't know. I say that it's not hard. And I guess it was hard when you started, but it's so worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is.
I mean, you look at the grocery store now. If I went in the grocery store yesterday, and there were literally 4 or 5 aisles. They're shorter aisles, but horizontally, with all candy for Valentine's Day. And when that's not there, it's all candy for Halloween or all candy for Christmas.
Easter.
But it's always Easter. It's the next sugar holiday is coming up, and every year, and it's just like, holy cow, and no one says that's bad for you, right?
Isn't that amazing? No one says a word.
No one, not a word.
When you're eating the crap.
Not a word.
And then they think you're going to get a heart attack if you eat meat. Oh, the cholesterol. Oh, the fat. Oh, the butter.
Salt, if you eat fat, if you eat meat, whatever, it's all bad. But eat as many of these candies as you want because you deserve it.
Yeah.
Or donuts.
And even if they see you growing, like they see you become obese and sick and unhealthy, they still say nothing about the way you eat.
Yeah. It's like,
if you get lean, fit, and strong, and by eating just the proper human diet, just eating meat, salt, and water, then they're on steroids, or they're going to have a heart attack, or they're going to have this and that. They're high cholesterol and all this sort of garbage.
You're putting a mirror up in front of them when you get healthy, and they don't like what they see, so they have to validate their life.
That's more the validation, the addict's validation, right?
Exactly.
It's what it is. But unfortunately, we have these industries that really push this narrative too, and people can just lean back on that and say, well, my ex did that. She's like, oh, you're eating processed meat, so you're going to get colon cancer. And she's telling me that all the time. I'm like, well, I don't have it now, so I'm just going to. It's better than eating. It's when I was going keto. It's better than eating sugar, right, and pizza with dough and everything. Now, the problem with keto is I would try to manage it, so I would get pizza with cauliflower crust, which is completely manufactured garbage with seed oils in it. But I was just fine because it's low carb, right?
Right.
And I was like, oh, that's keto. And then some people would say, well, this cauliflower crust is garbage and this cauliflower crust is good. Really, they're both garbage. They're both terrible. There's different variations of garbage, right?
Yeah.
So it's so hard to do that.
Yeah.
The lookalikes. There's a lot of lookalikes with keto. Oh, you can make it look like the food that you had before, which it is. You're making it look the way it did before for your head. You're not doing
that's what I don't get. That's what I don't get about a lot of carnivore as well. Like everybody, they keep trying to mimic junk food, like carnivore pizza, carnivore bread, and carnivore.
Right.
Just
grow up.
And those mimicking recipes require hours of measuring it. There's a lot of work to make those things. Right?
Lots of ingredients too. Like I don't do ingredients anymore.
Yeah.
I don't do ingredients.
Yeah, that's right. All you're doing is feeding your addiction.
That's what it is. You're managing an addiction.
And some people want to go through it. They got to go through that stage to get to the side. Some people go right into carnivore. Some people got to go through. Like I went through all of that. You were keto too, Larry. Some people have to go through it, and you have to teach themselves. This isn't going to work for me. I'm going to try it. It doesn't work.
Yeah, and you always get the same complaints too. Like, why isn't it working for me? They stick to. They're still drinking, diet soft drinks, and they're trying to mimic all these different foods with even either keto or carnivore.
I had a person on YouTube that just asked me a question on one of my YouTube videos. I still have to lose 60 pounds. Could it be my diet sodas and my vaping holding me back? And they wanted my answer. They wanted my validation answer, and I said, well, my friend, yes.
Yeah, 100%.
I really do think it is.
That you already know that
they
that's
know.
holding you back.
They want me to I guess they want to hear me say, yes, it is that. So then they can maybe
Okay.
get off of it.
That's good though. But I mean, yeah, look at this. Having a problem with dehydration, my internist prescribed Gatorade.
Oh,
that's because doctors don't know. Yeah, it's like the worst thing you could do.
It's all sugar.
It's sugar, and it's got some electrolytes in it. But you know what? Mineral water. That's all you need.
Yeah.
Mineral water. That's what our ancestors drank. When they drank from ponds and streams, they were rich in minerals.
They were.
And they didn't eat salted beef because they didn't have salt very much, probably, or salted antelope, or whatever. But they did get blood in the food. We drain them.
Right. They didn't hang them up and drain them years ago.
They didn't dress them like we do now. Right. So they would have blood, and blood has got tons of
electrolytes. Yeah.
They got their electrolytes from the blood mostly, but later on, people did start getting them from like salt rocks and things like that. They did use, salt quite a lot.
I have from Redmond.
Depends where they were
Redmond, real salt, right?
Yeah, and that's when we first started learning to preserve meat as well. We preserved it with salt.
Preserved it in salt. Yeah, you like Redmond, right, Larry?
I like Redmond salt. That's what
I like Redmond salt, and I was on their site buying something once, and they had these big salt rocks that you can buy. And I bought a couple of them, right? And I have it. So if you get this urge, you just take the rock, you put it in your mouth, and you just suck on it. And it's really salty, right?
It's like a salt lick.
It's kind of pink and everything. And when you get tired of it, you put it away. And it's just sit there and you put it in your mouth anytime you feel like it. I like it. It's really like if you have an urge for something, you're like, oh, and that just quelled the urge. You probably needed salt.
Yeah, and that can be even people that are breaking their sweet tooth addiction,
because the signals in the brain cross. Yeah,
salt, if you put salt in your mouth when you have a sweet craving, I swear to God, you go in that kitchen because you're looking for something sweet. Get a pinch of salt, put it in your mouth. I guarantee you, it'll probably go away.
It's amazing.
It is amazing. Bruce takes an Epsom salt bath once a week. That's healthy. I'd love to do that. I'm too big to fit in a bathtub because I'm freaking not normal.
Pick your legs up.
Yeah, I'm 6'3", and the bathtubs aren't big enough for me.
Oh, you're 6'3". Wow, you're tall.
I'm 6'3" and 232 pounds. So I'm big.
You are big.
I just don't fit in a bathtub. I can fit half my body in a bathtub.
All right,
but it's not very fun, right? I need one of those big cast iron cowboy bathtubs, I think.
There you go.
Let's see what else we got. I use very little salt. Never been constipated. That's fine.
There you go.
Everybody's different, and you got to learn your body.
You do. That's another thing. We can give advice. People can ask questions, and you're on your own. You have to figure out what works for you individually.
Yeah, it also depends on how rare you eat your meat as well.
Yeah.
Because like before, you get your electrolytes from the blood and animals and stuff like that too. If you eat your steak rare, you're not going to need as much salt as well.
That's true.
And then also there's salt in other foods too, like butter. If you're eating butter,
that's right. If you're eating butter,
you get butter. There's non-salted butter. Yeah.
I eat salted butter, which I love the salt flavor in that butter. I just eat slices of it all the time. Meeting wellness. Now she's got the picanha recipe, and she said she does one a week for her family and herself. So that's good.
Good stuff.
I have to check out that recipe and try it out because I want to, and the thing is, I've gotten away from the variety of food, and I'm just doing like you, DC, ground beef almost all the time, butter, just like eating some basics, eggs maybe every now and then. But I think that a little variety is okay, but I mean, I'm just not food's not entertainment for me at all anymore. It's just like, all right, I got to get past this meal. I got doing something interesting.
Yeah.
Right.
We look at it differently. We don't perceive food as entertainment, or the thing is, we still have the social thing in the world. People still meet over food, and that can be a barrier for people.
I mean, it doesn't mean you have to give up living. It gives you more time to live. If you want to go to a party, have a barbecue.
Right. And when I go out to lunch with people, I'll meet. They get whatever they get on the menu, and I get the steak. I get the hamburger, right? And I tell them no seed oil.
Yeah. That's good stuff. Our relationship with food changes completely.
It
does. So many things change, and it's all foundational. That you're a different person, and that's one of the things I like to say. And I know a lot of you guys have already heard me say it. This is a life-changing event, becoming carnivore, which is not understating it, and it's weird because it's a diet, right? But life-changing events are when your identity changes. So become a father, life-changing event. Graduate college, life-changing event. Retire from a job or military, life-changing event. Now you're retiring. So these are things that actually fundamentally change the way you are.
That's,
And
I
I
never
think
thought of it that way.
Carnivore
That's
is a
good way to put it.
life-changing event, man. It really is. When you come out the other
Yeah,
side,
it is.
yeah. If
It
you
really
really
is.
make it
Your
to a
life,
carnivore.
it's something I like to. Well, it's actually something I've put in my book too. Is that you know, there are pivotal points in your life, and it can be an external source or an internal source. Like for me, I've had some very big, you know, pivotal points in my life, like my diagnosis, the earthquake,
Right.
things like that. You know, your life can change in a matter of moments, like it's seconds, really, like and dramatically. But you know, when it comes to like positive changes, you know, these are up to you. You know, how you it is. It's not impossible. It is difficult to make pivotal decisions in your life because you don't know which way it's going to go, how it's going to work. And a lot of, like I said before, a lot of the questions that you get are like, it's anxiety comes with that. Am I doing the right thing? But when it comes to making better health choices, I think that would be one of the first things that we should be looking at is how to make our life healthier and improving it. You know, it's a pivotal point where you either, like I said before, you know, embrace, you know, embrace the discipline or deal with the regret later on.
Embrace the suck.
Yeah.
I want to know what the heart attack chicken is. What on earth is he talking about there?
Apparently,
Rick's heart attack chicken is a recipe like deep fried chicken legs and stuff like that. So
all right,
in lard though.
In lard, yeah.
He's been using that for a long time, but
wow.
no oils, just always fats.
Okay.
Fats, yeah.
That sounds really good. I'm gonna check that out. I'm not a huge chicken fan, and again, I don't need the variety. It's like I don't choose. That's like a lot of extra work for me because I'm just getting through the meal to the next thing, right? I mean, I'm looking to do the next thing, which is that's like I said, it is a life-changing event. You become a different person on the other side, and it has to do with your mental changing, your physical, your self-confidence, everything.
Well, it's our identity now. I am carnivore, just like vegans. They say they are a vegan. That's their identity. You know, you were in the military, you were retired. That's your identity. I'm a retired teacher. It's not a diet. It's a way of life. It's almost like a religion.
Well, it's not a diet in the diet industry sense of terms, but I mean, it is a diet as in like the natural diet for a kangaroo is grass.
But people get confused. They always use the word diet, like a Jenny Craig kind of diet, you know.
Yeah.
Right. Get people confused. I try not to use that word that much because people get confused. It's a way of eating, even though it's a diet. Yeah. I try to.
No, for sure. There's a difference between a way of eating or a lifestyle.
Yeah.
And I agree. And people use the diet thing, and a diet is underselling it from what it is because it does change so many things in your life that it's not.
It does. It changes your emotional well-being, your mental, certainly your mental capacity. I think does change because you are getting nutrients. Finally, getting nutrients to your brain, and your general health is incredible.
Agreed.
So Dave, heart attack chicken. I don't like chicken so much, but you know, deep fried steak, I like that.
I used to love chicken fried steak, and I think I might just make a deep fried steak and try that out in lard. I mean, searing it is one thing, but I don't know, maybe make it more crispy.
Yeah. In Japan, you always get that little cube of lard to cook your steak with in the packet.
Yeah,
I love that because like the lard's about half, you know, like half the thickness of the steak in the fry pan is lard, and it's lovely.
Last time Dave was in Japan, he did a video and he showed that. You go to the meat area and they have the meat and the cellophane and the styrofoam thing, and there's a big chunk of lard with the meat.
Why don't we do that? That's wonderful.
It's a fantastic idea, right?
Yeah. They're throwing the fat out in the meat department, you know.
I know.
Trimming it off, throwing it out, and we can get it for free.
All right. The program is always down to the basics. I appreciate that. Thank you. That's what I like to try to do. Just, you know, we're not going to get all fancy. We're just going to talk about practical application of carnivore, I think, in our lives.
Yeah.
And it makes, it's easier that way for me. That's the way I think. So
yeah,
I do like to geek out a little bit, but I'm not an uber geek. I think some of these guys.
Just as a side note, how do you guys feel about honey?
Block.
Yeah.
Cut him off, Larry.
Yeah, how do I feel about honey? Oh, let's see. It's a plant nectar that's the bee ingests and then pukes it out.
They spit it
So
in your
plant
eating or
product
vomit.
that just went through. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Honey.
I'll tell you something that happened. I can't do dairy very well. My body doesn't like the dairy, but I used to do cheese every once in a while, a little bit Parmesan and goat cheese. I just put that in my eggs, like just really good. I stopped doing that.
Is it real Parmesan though?
Yeah, it was real Parmesan, real hard. But when I was doing the goat cheese, what I'm trying to say here is I made a mistake and I bought the wrong goat cheese. It had honey in it, but I didn't read it. I didn't know it.
That's sweet too.
That's I took a dab and I put it in the pan and I'm cooking my eggs. I went to eat it and I'm like, damn, this stuff is like so good. Wow. And then I went back to the package and I read real close. It was the same color as the other one that doesn't have the honey. And I looked at it and I could barely see it. There it was. I'm like, shit.
Yeah.
I just ate. No wonder.
That's what I tell people too, is don't just look at the nutrient charts.
Yeah, you got to
look at the ingredients.
Yeah. And sometimes, and I tell people, if you're going to get something that's not just a one ingredient food, if you're going to get a sausage or you're going to get a cheese, read the ingredients because they'll sneak things in there.
Yep.
And I failed my own test and I didn't read the ingredients because I bought the same one like a couple of weeks before and I didn't grab the right one. Right.
And it doesn't have to say sugar. There's 60 different words.
60, thousands of different
words. The same with when it says artificial flavorings as well, and like it just says artificial flavorings, and a lot of them it can come from anywhere, including petroleum bases as well.
It can.
I did a video on this. I did a video on this last week. I think it was. Some of these artificial flavorings actually come from petroleum and things like that.
Yeah. Natural flavors too. You have to be careful. You don't know natural flavor. They're legally allowed to say natural flavor
because it's flavored like natural, like
right. But you don't know is that MSG? Is that another form of high fructose corn? They can literally, by the government standards, they can put anything in its place, like a place marker.
That's right.
Now, what I learned is if there's all good ingredients, like say 5 ingredients, and the last one says natural flavors, it's probably okay. But if you've got crap ingredients and it says natural flavors, it's probably another crap ingredient.
Yeah, that's right. Natural flavors and that's here in America. Could be different in Europe and in Australia. Yeah, but I'm sure it's very similar.
I was just looking at that comment there before, that vegans are always trying to make fake meats. That's true. Yeah, I saw a video recently. A farmer tried to give some of that the Beyond Meat crap to some chickens. They wouldn't go near it.
Of course not.
They know what's up.
Me, obviously, that just says to me, like even chickens are smarter than vegans.
Right.
Yeah. It's a problem. I mean, and then they have this lab grown meat, which is a bad idea.
Yeah.
Who knows what that's being made with? Like the cells have to grow, they have to be ingested with some kind of fuel.
They love their vegan lifestyle so much and their plants. Why are they trying to make it look like meat?
Yeah, we're not like making meat carrots here.
Right. We don't want
to get a sausage and whittling it down and coloring it orange and say, look at my new carrot.
Look at my carrot, but it's really meat. Yeah, we're not doing that.
It's really disgusting stuff.
Yeah, boy.
We got a question about vaping. I'm curious, is vaping somehow an issue when trying to lose weight? Isn't it water vapor?
There's oils in vape, though. That's how vaping works. It has to burn. It has to make a vape, and
nicotine. And there's other things in there too. There's heavy metals that are discharged.
Oh, there are. It's really bad. And the nicotine acts like sugar, actually. The way
they're trying to say it's healthier. They're trying to say it's healthier than smoking, but it's really not.
You're not getting the tar and the soot, but you're getting the oils and the nicotine.
Yeah. Even the smallest dose of these oils, these seed oils, will affect your thyroid, which will affect your fat loss and fat gain, your hormone production, everything like that. So even vaping, okay, it is going to stop you from losing weight.
It is.
And
losing fat.
The heavy
Stop you from
metals,
losing fat.
the heavy metals from the heating element that go into those accumulate. They never leave your body. So every time you get a heavy metal, whether it's lead or whatever it is,
aluminum or anything else,
it will continue to build up in your body. So it's an activity you don't want to do. You don't want to introduce that stuff. It's neurotoxin.
Yes.
So no, don't vape.
Don't
Vaping
vape.
is bad.
And if you do, try to wean off of it because it's not good. And is it better than inhaling soot from cigarette smoke? Well, you're not getting the tar. True. So it may be a little bit of a step down, but you got to go all the way off of it.
It is the same industry, though. They've actually bought those companies, and they've launched their vape company, so they know it's the next addictive thing they can do. Now, the thing is, if you're going full carnivore and you're still going to vape the first 3 months, I'm okay with that. To get as a bridge to get off.
It's a bridge.
As long as you're planning to get off. And because I know that my addictions, I drank when I first started carnivore. I don't drink anymore, barely at all. But it's because, like we were talking earlier, your cognitive ability, your mind, you can break addictions easier, I think, down the road. It's probably easier to quit coffee down the road, too, if that's a bridge to get you into it initially. But long term, you need to look and say, well, I want to hit my optimum health and these things need to leave. And that's the thing.
I mean, this to me is just another honey question, like you don't need validation from us or anyone else. If that's what you want to do it. But I mean, it's not healthy and it's not going to, and yes, it is going to affect your weight loss or your fat burning or your fat loss and hormone production and things like that. But honestly, I don't really care if you do or don't.
Well, I know Dave asked the question, but he doesn't do it because he's a distance bicycle athlete. He's a lean mass hyper responder. Dave Saunier is an athlete, and I know he doesn't do that. I think he's just posing the question. But it's interesting because I did meet someone who was vaping, and I told her, I was like, listen, and she didn't know there were heavy metals in there. I was like, I would get off that for sure because that, like you said, I mean, nicotine, heavy metals, oils are in it. It's just not good.
Yeah, nicotine is like sugar in the body. The way it acts, the way it destroys the cell
addiction.
walls.
The mitochondria.
Mitochondria too. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've been on about an hour now.
Wow, I can't believe
it went by quick, right, guys?
It did.
I guess quick.
Let's see. Larry, need to get one of these giant galvanized steel horse troughs. Great way to take a bath outdoors. Yeah, I can do that probably. I probably could do that, Dave. That's Dave Saunier. He grew up on a ranch in Louisiana. So
nice.
He actually, he's a good dude. And he'll be at KetoCon. So I'll be meeting him.
I'm going to meet all these people. I'm really looking forward to this. I'm going to meet all these people.
It's going to be great. Listen, let me ask you, last time you went, did you know people to meet?
I didn't know a soul.
There you go.
Just one or two of the speakers that were up there, and it was like Thomas DeLauer was the one guy I met. He's the guy I started following long time ago when I started keto. He was there, and a couple other people I saw on YouTube, but I didn't know a soul there, anybody. And
DeLauer goes down the geek route way too much for me.
Oh yeah.
When I started, I was into that. I was trying to do the keto thing and trying to figure out how to solve this problem. It was a problem to me. How do I calculate this and that? And he's big into that, which is great. It's worked for him, and he got a great channel.
Yeah.
Just I don't want to spend that much time. Like you said, do wild animals do that? No,
they don't.
They just eat the right food.
And before the Industrial Revolution, and before technology and electricity and refrigeration, how did we eat?
Yeah.
We killed animals and we ate it. And yes, they had some crops, but I mean, mostly meat for thousands of years. All of a sudden we changed.
And you look at the ancestral diets now.
4.5 million years we've survived on meat.
Exactly.
We got through the ice age without any crops.
There you go. Yeah, that's what Anthony Chafee talks about a lot with the ice age, and people surviving without any foliage, any kind of leaves, any kind of plants at all.
Even Arctic tribes, like the Inuit, they never had any vitamin deficiency. They were completely covered the whole time. Didn't have the sunlight or anything like that. Never had any vitamin D deficiency or anything like that. Yeah, they got it from the fat that they have.
We have fat millions of years in our genetics, and our body knows what's right. And that's what's
Exactly.
right for us. Yeah.
William McCartney makes an interesting comment. I used to eat local honey for allergies. I did too, because we were told that it's from local plants, so it's going to help you with your allergies. I don't have allergies anymore. Yeah,
Neither do I.
My allergies are gone. I used to have allergies every morning. I would wake up, take a Costco allergy pill, and blow my nose for a half hour, and then I'd be fine. But it took me at least a half hour every day. Now I don't do that. So pretty crazy. But yeah, you don't need the honey then, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. What else we got here? I was looking through these comments real quick before we can wind this thing up. And then when we get off, guys, I'm going to show you that TubeBuddy thing.
All right.
For your channels. So if you guys stick around, I'll show you that. But yeah, I don't see much else in here. Hack Your Health's going to be a blast. That's from Dave. Yep, he'll be there. Going to be like a Squirrel Girl at an NSYNC concert. Yeah, it's funny. I'm looking forward to it. You know, I'm just looking forward to hearing. And the thing is, if you've never been to it's like being in a concert. Or
yeah,
like
it is. You're excited.
The energy level of the people in the room.
We're all taking selfies and
you get this energy level with the message. So not only are you getting this carnivore message, which is fantastic, but you're getting this energy level, and that is a life-changing thing. I think it helps. You know, it is. I mean, just like going to a concert or like watching a movie, a really great movie with a crowd of people. Just there's something different than sitting at home watching it.
Your camaraderie. You all have things in common, and it's it's kind
common
of
experience.
Common experience.
Yeah.
Normally we're in the world, we're eating carnivore, and 99% of the people are not. We're the minority.
Yeah.
And now we're going to a place where we're the majority, and it's a wonderful feeling.
All right. Well, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna let's see. Let me go to comments and then click off that, and then I'll get rid of the banner so you can see everyone's name. Go ahead, and if you haven't liked and subscribed, check out these channels. Like and subscribe to our channels for sure. And if you're watching this later and you want to drop comments down, they'll be their links will be there too. You can comment with them. This video is streamed on their channels as well, so you can comment. If you have questions for them, you can go to their channel and post a comment under their copy of this video. And I recommend that because they will definitely answer it. So, guys, what do you got going on this week? You got anything planned or anything special? I know, John, you're re-releasing your videos because your channel went away and it's back now.
I'm releasing a previously made video one a day, and then 2 new ones a week, and this live one's coming out, so there'll be the second one for today. And I'm answering people's questions. A lot of people are commenting more. All these wonderful questions. So I'm spending a lot of time answering people's questions, and I like that.
How about you, DC? What's going on with you, man?
Yeah, a lot of things going on. Got some more interviews coming up, and more lives, and just try and stay on top of things, try and answer people's questions, and same old. Yeah.
Good deal, man. Sounds good. Well, I guess that's all we got. I'm gonna drop you guys off the screen. I'm gonna say goodbye, and you stick around. I'll show you my stuff.
All right.
All right, guys. Fantastic show. Happy Valentine's Day. Like I said, Valentine's Day is a scam, but you can still be sweet to your special someone if you want. You don't have to buy candy or sugar. You can just do something nice for them and spend some time. Eat a steak together. Eat some burgers. Get some butter. Get some Wagyu. That's a real Valentine's Day. Anyway, all I got to say is stay strong and overcome. Carnivore Soldier out.